So, this obviously the thumbnail's a bit clickbaity. I'm not down for all this jazz, this lasting or performance stuff. It's true, when we spend some money on some fragrance, we want to be able to smell it, and we do want it to last a certain amount of time. Although I think the more fragrances we own, stuff that overlasts is we want to be able to wear more than one a day, don't we? I mean, come on. And we want to experience the kind of beauty of it, if you think about it. You know, like walking down in these woods. It's the fleeting moments of beauty, the blue sky, you probably can't hear me because of the wind, the leaves rustling, the flowers growing, everything that's the most beautiful thing in the world, you know, being intimate or whatever. It's quite fleeting, isn't it? If something lasts for days, you know, never mind hours and hours and hours, it's quite takes the shine off it, doesn't it? And you don't enjoy it as much because it's kind of normal, you know. You know, when you get, I don't know, a cold or a boil on our posteriors, we don't want that to last for days and days and days, do we? So, and the thing is with a fragrance as well, it can, especially if they tend to be more linear and stuff, the longer they're on us, they can start to get quite irritating. And personally, it's all subjective, isn't it? I have quite a sensitive nose, so things, and my skin, things tend to jump off me and overwhelm me. That's just how it is. So yeah, it's just fragrances that last. Like I say, it's all very subjective. Now, it's possible one of my fragrant friends, Lizzie Rosen-Jones, Elizabeth, she might do a video similar to this because we've spoken about it, but hers might be called lasting. Don't really know what the word lasting means. The southern people in England especially, not necessarily the whole of the UK, put an R in words when there aren't words like R's in the words. But yeah, so mine is a lasting fragrances video and hers is a lasting one. Anyway, let's crack on. So first up, in this lasting video, is going to be a fragrance that you wouldn't expect in here, but it does last a long time and it lingers a long time. It's not in your face or anything like that. Let's crack on. It's Rolling in Love from Kilian. Now, this, as we know, is one of my most kind of favourite fragrances. It's just unbelievably beautiful, and it's not a projecting one. Obviously, just because something lasts a long time doesn't mean it projects massively. And again, these things aren't particularly issues to me. I wear a fragrance for me. I know we all, you know, we dress to impress and smell to impress sometimes, unless you're comfortable in it. Anyway, we all know this. We don't need a lesson from me. So, Rolling in Love, what's it like? Well, basically, it's all about the musks, innit? There's a kind of slight cherry almond feel in it, some almond milk going through it. There's some, with that, I think it's freesia, gives it a tiny creamy touch to it. There's a kind of irisy powderiness, but none of these really matter. It's about the Ambre, and it's about all the musks. Now, Ambre is quite a human smelling musk. It is a vegetable musk, isn't it? But it has a certain level of about it, and yeah, I love it. It really does have that effect on me. But the fragrance itself, it does sit close to the skin, maybe after a couple of hours and that, but you are surrounded in a veil of magical musks, and I'd say this is one that does last and last and last, and it's probably still on me in the morning and stuff. I mean, I must put a disclaimer in this. All fragrances last on me, to be quite honest. There's only one or two that never have done, and gladly, because I wasn't the biggest fan of them. But yeah, but the musks kind of stick to you, and they kind of emphasise and build up your own musks. It's just a beautiful fragrance. So that's Rolling in Love. Next is a fragrance called Date with a Dame, which is one I've spoken about quite a lot. You might notice a bit of a theme with these ones that last on me. But Date with a Dame is from One Way Bridge, nice fantastic New Zealand brand. I'm gonna advertise because I want people to watch it, but there is an interview with Elise coming up. It's not why this is in the video, but yeah, I think it may already be up when I post this. Date with a Dame. Now again, it has that kind of, it has a naughty cheeky cherry smell about it. It's tuberose. It's got a little something in there, like that, a little je ne sais quoi, a little kind of naughtiness in there, which you can't really pinpoint or describe, and it's a very sensual kind of floral, but it's not, you know, your flowery floral. It's kind of more kind of, you know what tuberose does, it's kind of a bit more out there. It's not overly sweet or anything like that, but again, it's that sprinkle of musk in this. The musks, there's more than one musk, I'd say. There's a kind of soapy clean musk, but not a white musk. This, I don't know anything about musks, but it's more kind of soapy clean. It isn't an aldehyde, and it doesn't really smell like an aldehyde or oak moss or like lily of the valley, but it has that kind of, there might be lily of the valley in it, I don't know, but it has that kind of soapy clean feel mixed with a kind of more sensual musk. Again, I don't think it's Ambre, but it has the same effect as Ambre. It's very like grrr. And this one kind of, as the florals fade, you know, you're talking, this is what we mean by lasting, you're talking after 6-7 hours, then musks still envelop you, and they still like tickle you, and they still make you feel, oh. And I think it's one of them that, again, you could wake up on a morning, your bed's just going to smell of these beautiful kind of floral musks. Magnificent fragrance. So that's One Way Bridge, Date with a Dame. Next is Wild Summer Joy from April Aromatics. I'm sure I always get the name of that wrong, so I'll pop it up. Well, it will be up anyway, won't it? Now this is one where the fragrances are all based, well, mainly naturals. So there's not a lot of things that kind of, you know, pump it out or do anything like that. There may be little traces of it in there, because obviously a fragrance needs to be a fragrance. But this one anyway, it's not called Wild Summer Joy. I'll remember the name. Anyway, it's this juicy grapefruit, like this proper lovely red, not too bitter, not too astringent grapefruit. And my god, it's fresh and it's happy and it's lovely. It's not like a fruit gum, it doesn't feel candied, but it's got that kind of zesty, happy sweetness about it. There's other things in there. There are some florals and some woods. I think there's some resins, maybe some Apopanax or something in the base, or frankincense even, to go with the more citrusiness, that kind of give it a nice warm feel and a nice depth. But ultimately it's the grapefruit and the citrus. Like I said, I'm kind of odd in the fact that citrus does sit on me a long time, and it's quite a happy note for me. Sometimes that irritates me because I'm not the biggest citrus fan, but this one, with it being so joyous and bright and happy, it's one I absolutely love. And that's all there is to really say about it. So if you want this kind of citrusy one that actually lasts a long time, very obviously it's very natural smelling because it's mainly naturals and stuff, and it's the kind of red grapefruit. Whether it's an accord, I don't think it can be too much of the real thing because it'd burn your skin, wouldn't it? But the accord or what have you put together just smells magical. It smells so summery, so happy, so kind of like a summer's day. Anyway, I'm waffling on and on, but if you want a citrus that lasts, this is a beautiful one. So that's, is it called Wild Summer? It's called Wild Summer something from April Aromatics. Next, I mean, like I say, I'm not down for massive fragrances and stuff, but this is one I have spoken about quite a bit, and it just doesn't get the love it deserves, I don't think. It is massive, and that's Swedoft's Bohemian. Now this one pumps. This one will, you know, take over the world. It's quite massive, but it's not obnoxious. I think it's just strong around you. Maybe it does project. How would we know that, really? Unless people are complaining about someone stinking 20 miles away. But anyway, it does stay around on the skin a lot, and it's ultimately this leathery, whisky, slightly oudy fragrance, with a nice clean woody feel. There might be some cypriol in the base, giving it a kind of greener feel, but it is ultimately a classy, kind of slightly boozy. Don't know where that booziness comes from, but it definitely got a whisky feel about it, with the leatheriness, whether that's coming from the oud or there's leather in it. It's just a very beautiful fragrance, and it does make me think of a Viking or something like that. You know, it's got a kind of ruggedness, but a gentle kind of sweet niceness about it. So that's Bohemian from Swedoft. Next is, I wasn't going to put loads of aroma chemical kind of things in this, but it is one that does last. Doesn't suit its name. That's Office for Men from Fragrance 1, and it's, yeah, do you know what? If you like Sauvage and Aventus and you want them together, it is ridiculously expensive, more expensive than it's probably worth, but so are a lot of fragrances, let's be fair. But it's a fresh, juicy bergamot. It's got that fruity feel. It's got the strong patchouli. It's got the ambroxan, which is not it's not the same ambroxan as in Sauvage. It's not metallic or jarring. It more kind of gives that grainy feel that you get with the patchouli as well, and it kind of pushes out. It's one you'd wear, I suppose, if you're a fan of them fragrances. This is one you just wear probably to go out, given it's everywhere at the moment. You probably wear it just to go to the pub, you know, you're not going to wear it for a special occasion out like that. Or if you're a youth, you could wear it to go clubbing and stuff, if youth still do that sort of thing. It's just a very easygoing, mass appealing, liking one. Like I say, the use of the aroma chemicals in this particular one, oh god, it lasts. You may be probably going to stop smelling it because you know that's going to eventually get to your nose, all that them things in there, but it's a good one. So that's Office for Men from Fragrance 1. Next is another fruit chuli, as we're kind of going on it, is Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle, the original, which I think is the EDP, is the one I'm most familiar with. And basically, again, like all the Coco Mademoiselles, it is it's typical Chanel citrus, bubbling citruses. There's this kind of fruitiness. You wouldn't be able to tell what they are. I'd say a bit of peachiness, a bit of kind of apricotiness maybe, and like dried but zesty, full of life fruits, like a fruit salad a bit, mixing with the woods, and quite a lot of patchouli. But this one it's massive, the fragrance itself, probably not compared to the old days, blah blah blah, but this one again, it's that patchouli and the musk that really kind of lay on the skin and last and last and last, and the fruitiness kind of lingers through it. It's a DNA we all know. I'd say even, well, more recent ones I've tried do seem to stick about on me. I obviously own the Longtons, which is the same DNA but rounded off and kind of smoother, whereas Coco Mademoiselle's more of a hello than a kind of shy hello kind of wave, isn't it? So that's Coco Mademoiselle from Chanel. Next, we'll put an Amouage in there, why not, is Amouage Portrayal, which is a jasmine superstar bomb. Again, it opens up, it is massive, it's huge, and somehow, again, this is what I mean, like with the Bohemian. Sometimes big fragrances can hold a bit of class. They're not just packed full of things to make it gloopy, heavy, and you know, it's not an Initio or a Parfums de Marly, don't worry about that. And it just kind of, it develops, you know, from the jasmine with a little hint of tuberose. It's kind of sweeter, you know, I always think of flapper style, like 1920s kind of thing. There's a little bit of cigarette smoke going through it. There is a tobacco note, but that kind of gives it this drier, tobacco-y feel rather than the actual cigarette, something separate. It's a tiny bit of smokiness. There's obviously a lot of resins. This is Amouage, and yeah, it's a gorgeous fragrance. What more do I need to say about it other than this is going to be on you? You know, you spray it in the morning when you go to bed at night. If you're one of these weird people who don't have a shower for an entire day, then it's still going to be there on your skin, and it smells absolutely magnificent. So that is Portrayal from Ambre. Next up, I've put this in because again, it's not a big bombastic one. Again, it's another indie brand, and it's another citrus that lasts, and that is Citrus from Olfactive O. And now this one is a really interesting fragrance. It opens with a kind of zesty lemon rind. It's quite bitter and sharp. Maybe there's something like a petitgrain in there, but it's more, it smells like a lemon, like you're just biting into the zest and you get that freshness from it. There's also champagne in there. There's a few florals and that, but like I say again, it's about the citruses, and it even has, maybe there's juniper in there. It does start to get with that kind of champagne-y feel, a kind of aromatic gin feel. It's not like, you know, you spilled gin down yourself. It just gives it a bit of depth to the fragrance. You know, like juniper and gin to me have this kind of, it's like heavy water, so it gives this depth in there. But that citrus, whatever it is, it might be lemon and grapefruit, really linger through it, and the champagne and the kind of fizzy effect to the champagne keeps it like interesting and different. And obviously it smells quite classy, and it's just zesty, it's fun, it's bright. It does have a little bit of, sometimes a little bit of a creamy feel in there. Magnificent fragrance. So that's Citrus from Olfactive O. Another one that people complain about not lasting, but does on me, and again I think it's that the kind of muskiness in it, is I have to mention it because again it's a quieter one, and it's beautiful. That's Ombre Nuit from Dior. Now my bottle's one of the more recent ones. Is it 22 or something like that? Obviously to buy it, the sample I'd tried was much older than that. There's a difference, but there ain't much of a difference. You can tell, but you know, you forget about it. The bottle I've got is the bottle I've got, isn't it, ultimately at the end of the day. Now, as we know, this one is basically just rose, musk and wood. There ain't much else going on with it. There are other, you know, there's other listed notes and other things in it, but ultimately what you get in the end is this kind of musky, powdery rose. Whether it's ambergris, doubtful, or ambroxan or whatever, it's very well used, it's delicately used, and it's used to give that effect, that musky effect, rather than, you know, smell 40,000 miles away. But this again is one that sits nice and close to the skin. It's a kind of snuggle one. It's one that you want someone, it will bring someone closer, like Rolling in Love and things like that, to snuffle you. And again, if you're having an evening, you know, going out for drinks and a meal, and you're coming home for a bit of how's your father and all that business, this one is still going to be on your skin. It's not going to be distracting, it's not going to be too heavy. It's a beautiful, delicate, musky one again, and that really, really lasts on me. I wonder how many times I said last in this fragrance video now. Next is one I'm going to have to mention. And we're talking about the OG here. I'm not going to go into a big random rant about it, don't worry. That's Mugler's Alien. We know this without me going into too much detail about it. That dark, weird jasmine, the white musks, the just beautiful, weird feel about it, the kind of cashmere and base there as well. It's just this weird, I mean the name suits it, isn't it? It is a very alien fragrance, and it's kind of massive, but again this is one of them that does last, because once everything's kind of faded away, with the old one you're talking double figure number of hours, or maybe 12 hours the next day. Them musks are still going to give you that kind of feeling when someone else smells it on you, or when you smell it on yourself. It will add a layer to another perfume that again is going to really draw someone in and make them kind of weak at the knees. And it even though you might not be able to smell it, trust me, Alien is one of them that does last on you and lasts around you a long time. So that's Mugler's Alien, from actual Mugler, the OG, none of the L'Oreal whatever it is now. And finally, because yeah, I imagine this video is going to be one that gets a few bros watching and that, who probably will definitely not share my taste and things like that, but I will put one in that is famous, and obviously it's very famous for lasting, and that is Francis Kirkjohn's masterpiece, Baccarat Rouge. It's a synthetic masterpiece, there's no like denying it. It's brilliantly done. Everything kind of works about it. However, for me personally, I mean it's my video innit, it's obnoxious, and it's too much for me to wear. It's one of them definitely I love to smell it on you, but definitely not on me kind of fragrances. I do prefer kind of versions of it, but we all know what it is. I mean, I don't know what this thing is, but I know what it smells like now, is that ethyl maltol stuff or whatever it is. And it's mixed with like a fairly sweet kind of saffron actually. It's not one of them overly sticky, dark, leathery, weird ones. And it's jasmine. There's other florals and things in there, but again, ultimately that's what this is, and it's very well done actually. It's quite smooth, and it's quite easy. But even on me, even though I can't stand it, and even them people who weirdly, because a lot of these molecular inventions, some people can't smell them, I think they're lucky. But it's on you, and it will last for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I think everyone who's kind of smelt it knows this. I am more familiar with the EDP than the extrait of this one, but that's, believe me, that's certainly strong enough. And again, it will sit on your skin probably for 2 years after several showers. It's one of them weird things, and I'm saying that as a joke. It's one of them fragrances that I get whiffs of in my bedroom, and I've not wore it for a long time, because like I say again, I struggle with it, but it's still, you can still randomly smell it. It's a very interesting one that actually, and I don't think I've spilt any, and I don't think the cat's gone in my like my drawers and is spraying my fragrances. Maybe she is, I mean it's possible, isn't it? But yeah, that's a Baccarat Rouge 540 from Maison Francis Kirkjohn. So yeah, that's the end of the video. You can probably see what I've done here. I've tried to put unexpected ones in, and ones that you might not have tried, and I think by all means we all wear fragrance for different reasons, and it's all fair enough, isn't it? Subjective, it's whatever you enjoy and you wear. But I just wanted to, I suppose I wanted to point out, you don't need to buy bottles of Initios or Parfums de Marly's or something which cost £300. I mean, again, when you could get a so-called Middle Eastern version for a tenner, that ain't any different, because it's probably made with exactly the same ingredients. And you know, you don't need to spend that money to be smelt or for it to last, if that's important to you. You can buy some beautiful, elegant fragrances. I can't say Chanel's not elegant. That will last. Again, maybe not last in a sense like we were saying, filling a football stadium forevermore. Is that really what you want? And again, fragrances that last more than 7-8 hours, you can't wear anything else on the night, can you? But anyway, Like, what about you? What fragrances have you got that last a long time? Is it something that you really care about at the end of the day? I know, yes, we want to get our money's worth and etc. We want to be able to smell it, that's all fair enough. But I think when people mean lasting, they mean that everybody can smell it. Is that what you want from your fragrances? Or do you want this weird chemical smell on your skin for days on end and end? But subjective, innit? Alright folks, thanks, bye.